today, you know, sometimes we're the ones that get in the way of our knowing our own blessedness. Isn't that the truth?
Absolutely.
We're the one that puts up that filter that blocks our awareness of our own radiance and our own beauty. We're the ones that do that. Thank you for singing that song today.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So this is the thing. We're talking this entire month about the attitude that we bring to our experience, as I mentioned, these be-attitudes, the attitudes of actually being in the world in a way that allows us to actually love our life, to celebrate who we are, and you know what? When we can love our life and celebrate who we are, guess what that does? That allows us to celebrate and love everybody else and everything else. So it's all about this transformation of consciousness. This is what we're talking about. Perfect topic for the month of April while we're studying or working with Easter coming up. This idea that when we can bring ourselves closer to not only knowing but remembering the truth of our being, who we really are, that we are not just these people suits, but that we also are this incredible, radiant divinity that is expressing through this particular form this time around, then we have an opportunity to actually be in our life experience with a sense of well-being, with a sense of peace, with a sense of unconditional love. Did you like that opening video? Wasn't it beautiful? Yeah. Lots of tears. I see lots of tears. And the reason for that is that we all have that place within us that is that guiltless innocence that sometimes shows up struggling. Yes, don't we? And we all have this energy surrounding us in our own awareness that is that unconditional love for ourselves. See yourself as both of those people in those beings in that video. So this, in the Christian tradition, if you are from the Christian tradition, and most in this room are, this idea of be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind. This is the great invitation. Change the way you think and experience a new way of being in the world. Change the way you think, because your thoughts and your attitudes and your perceptions have a lot to do with your experiences. You know, we say that we are what we think. Yes? But I'm here to tell you that no, we are thinking what we think. We are thinking what we think. We have a mind, but we're not our mind. So guess what? We get to change the way we think if we're not happy, if it's not supporting our life journey. You are what you think? No. I'm inviting you, and you don't have to believe this. It helps me. I'm thinking what I think. And because I take responsibility for what I think, I can change my thinking. I can choose the thoughts that move me in the direction of my happiest outcome. I love what we're working a lot with this book and with Eric Butterworth's material. This is a basic metaphysical talk, folks. This is a basic idea that we teach. Thoughts manifest after their kind. And he says, and I love this, our thinking either adds to our good or takes it away. It either pluses us or minuses us. Those are his old-fashioned words. We're either plussing ourselves into recognizing our blessedness and our beauty and our radiance, or we're minusing our awareness of ourselves and adding all kinds of icky perceptions that have nothing to do with the truth of who we really are. We remember who we are, and we forget who we are, all in the same breath. And our work together is to remember the truth of our being more often than we forget. That's the invitation. So we really have to ask ourselves, what am I thinking right now? What am I thinking? What am I thinking about myself? What am I thinking about my life? What am I thinking about the other players in my life experience? What am I thinking? Because no matter what, my thinking I'm in relationship with everything that I'm thinking about. Yes? Yes. And if I want to have a life experience that is affirmative and supporting and beautiful and, filled with this unconditional love, I got to really take a look at the thoughts and the attitudes that I'm thinking, that I'm bringing into my life experience. And the key is to remember to remember. That's the key. To remember that I am divine. To remember my holiness. To remember my beauty and my radiance within all the icky. Who in this room does not have at least one sort of or majorly icky thing going on right now? You don't. I'm glad to know that. Good for you. Good for you. All right, everybody in this room, raise your hand. Let's go see him afterwards. He's got the secret. This is the thing. We're all in a human condition, and so sometimes things don't show up the way we want them to. They get our attention, and sometimes it doesn't feel very good. And if you're involved in anything like that, your invitation is to remember your holiness. To remember that you are blessed. And because the time to embrace who you are, your own magnificence, is right where you are in the moment, even within all that, whatever that stuff is. So I love this little book. This is one of the texts that we're using. It's very tiny. You can read it in an afternoon or within an hour, actually. Celebrate Yourself by Eric Butterworth. Basic metaphysic message in this book. Many messages, but this is what he says, and I love this because I think so often we get distracted. We don't remember to remember who we are. We don't get to remember our own holiness. And this is what he says. Listen to the voice of silence within. You are a unique and wonderful individual. You are important. You are not just a statistic, but a vital part of the universe. Truly, you live in its center. You are its center. You are God's living enterprise. God has something wonderful to say through you, which he can only say as you. The cosmos can never be quite complete without you. Wow. Breathe that in. That's the truth. Remember to remember this truth about yourself. Who you are is the most awesome, incredible, beautiful thing in the world. Absolutely. See, this is the deal. We teach here in this community, and most communities like ours, that we are an original blessing, regardless of how we show up, even if we show up unskillfully. We are an original blessing. Nobody has to earn it. We don't have to do anything special to get it. You can't lose it. Can't be diminished. Can't be tarnished. Doesn't matter. We are that original perfection, that holiness that God is. We are a unique expression of that. We don't become blessed. We are blessed. We just need to remember that. We need to become aware of that. We need to own that for ourselves. We are that. And so often, we've come through experiences that tell us something different. Our religious experiences, our cultural experiences, our family experiences, our society experiences, our institutional experiences don't remind us of the truth of our own divinity. I like what Eric Butterworth says. Very old language because he's an old guy. He's dead now. But he says, everything he says is valid and very valuable, and I like his work. He says, every person is an eachness in the allness of God. See, we are a unique expression of within the expression of the allness of the divine. We get to be this incredible, unique expression. We are the very activity of God expressing. That's what we teach here. We are expressing our divinity. That's our job. To know our blessing, that we are the blessed one, and to live from that place. Because there's no place that the light of God is more present than where you are. And by the way, It doesn't matter how unskillful you are. And that's a big concept. Because a lot of times we'd like to say, you're not, oh, excuse me, but I don't really think you're that blessed. You're acting really, really rudely now, or that person has done some horrible things. But I want to tell you something, and this is tough. This is really tough. If I'm blessed, and this is true that we're all original blessings, take a deep breath. This is also true for the terrorist. This is also true for that which we do not love, that which we do not like, that horribly unskillful behavior that we see raising its head in our midst. If it's true for me, it's true for everyone. That's tough. Not everybody's ready to embrace that, and I understand that. So, sometimes we lose sight of this idea that we're all blessed. Sometimes we lose sight of this idea that our unique expression in the world has this incredible importance. Like he says, God can only do through me this thing that is so important that I am. Yes. We lose perspective about who we are. We lose perspective about our relationships with each other and the blessed nature of all of that. Pick this image behind me because Eric Butterworth tells us that no matter what's going on, no matter whether it's this fabulous plussing experience of knowing our blessedness and knowing who we really are, our radiance and our divinity, or it's icky, no matter how it's showing up in the moment, God sings his song through every one of us, whatever's going on, in the present moment. That's the whole energy of the divine. God is singing through us, no matter what. And because we are this blessed being, we're important. And he says the music of the universe is not complete without your voice. It takes every one of us to create the energy of this incredible divine symphony that we're all experiencing. So here's your invitation. Think about the lyrics. I sing those lyrics all the time to myself. I only sing the part about who's in the way but me. And then I start over, who's in the way but me? Yep, who's in the way but me? But remember those lyrics. If you're having trouble remembering to remember your own divinity, to remember your holiness, who's in the way but you? Who's in the way but you and your thinking? You're creating your reality, as the lyrics say. I'm creating my reality. Shift your thinking. This next week, ask yourself consistently when you're feeling a little out of balance, when you're feeling not quite present, not quite aligned with the truth of your being, ask yourself, what am I thinking? Am I plussing here or am I minusing? Am I adding to my awareness of my blessedness or am I, bringing in some other stuff that's not that? Embrace your magnificence. Every single one of us, every single one of you, no matter what, is this incredible, beautiful, radiant being, this expression of God. So just remember that you are blessed. And when you remember that you are blessed, guess what? You become a blessing to everyone and everything around you. Thank you for listening.